That's just my take on the chat.
Yeah, Curtis asked, "What is emotional protection?" Curtis, emotional protection is you making sure that there's a space available for your woman, your wife, to be able to decompress comfortably. Emotional protection is hers knowing you're going out, and she doesn't have to worry if you're going to do anything silly while you're out. All of that's part of that emotional protection for a woman. That's what it looks like. But you have to create that space as a man for her to feel safe emotionally. I just wanted to answer his question. And if Marcus wants to chime in, feel free, bro. You've been kind of quiet.
I say no. I just been letting it build, and I mean I agree that the emotional like. So what was the three? Can you give three examples of it for people that may not know what you mean mistaken when you talk about protection, like in real life, how those three examples would manifest?
So like AP did say one, like is the consistency, I would definitely say is the consistency of following through on doing the things that you want or say you're gonna do, because that can cause mental, like emotional distress when I'm depending on you for certain things and then you never follow through with them, right? So that would be an example of, protecting me emotionally. Another thing is, like Shan brought up the example that like you going out, stepping outside of the relationship, that would cause emotional distress, right? So knowing that you're trustworthy helps build emotional protection for me, right? Or for women in general. Also kind of like what we were talking about in terms of the consideration of the things that a woman may have on her plate if she's working a 9 to 5, like, just like you, and got the kids and got the X, Y, and Z, like all of these other, gotta cook dinner, gotta take care of the kids, gotta make sure they have baths, gotta help with homework, and you just stepping in to say, babe, you go rest. I know you had a long day today. You know what I'm saying? Like that helps with our emotional, that gives us emotional protection as well. Even though that part is a physical act, it reverberates as a emotional protection because you are considering the stress that I'm gonna have, which is not gonna let me be at the capacity that I can be to be a better mom or a better wife because I'm stressed out. So that's also a way to provide some of that emotional protection. Or even if we are talking and we're in an argument and my triggers, to intentionally, because men do this sometimes, to intentionally do stuff that they know is going to trigger you, right? That's not emotional protection. That's just the opposite, right? So things of that nature, those are examples of emotional protection.
And let me just say this.
We don't do that, Miss Taken. We don't do that because we know if we hit low, y'all hit lower. Stop it.
Let me say this.
You cannot be a man. Listen, and even Marcus, we had this conversation before. If a woman could go low, a woman will not win when it comes to competing with a man to do the worst stuff. They won't win. And we had that conversation before because I think I gave an example about how like my husband had left like something on account and I've just left it there to see how long it would take for him to clean up. I was like, I ain't gonna do it. He would not do it. And I realized I can't even play those games. I will lose every time because it would get to a point that I just can't take it. And Marcus started laughing because he was like, yeah, you'll never win.
Yeah, Y'all hit low. That's why your left ball is lower than the right one. Sorry, Nick.
Let me say this too. I think that
Then you'll say, but your girlfriend liked it because you already snatched the girlfriend.
You and your stinking ass weed. Keep playing.
So I think that too, when it comes to emotional, when it comes to I forgot what the topic was, but I think something else to take in consideration is too, I think that a lot of times men leave a relationship, but they don't leave a relationship. Okay. So if you had, let's just say you have a woman and she's fulfilling your needs outside the relationship, you're neglecting your home because you can't be two places at one time. Okay. Because you got two different things going on in two different directions. And so that checkout, women feel that, right? They feel like, you want to know if what a man's doing, if he's cheating on you, his pattern is going to change. Everything about him is going to change. And so when men do that, and the reason why, because a lot of men do, they just do. I know everybody, I wish everybody was as faithful as you, AP. And I can't put Marcus in this situation because we just heard that story. But
whoa.
You are now.
Did you hear her?
He is now.
Marcus is on this show talking about polygamy every single week. Okay, so we don't but
you can't really count it as cheating because his partner agreed to it. So I wouldn't cheating.
Yeah. I wouldn't say cheating. It was a joke. It really was a joke. Pause it. So what I would say is this: if you have two different things going on, men check out a relationship. And so that leaves a woman in an emotional state. There's no communication that's going on. You probably got a little funky attitude. No, you have not left the household, because men don't leave, but they will definitely leave, if that makes sense. And that leaves her in a place where you're not communicating effectively. You leave in, your patterns have changed, and that's distress. And that's not protecting the wife. You're there, you're like, well, I'm here. Like, that's so just okay just to be here, but you're not here. There's nothing about you here. So I think that goes into that category as well. That's a big one. Anybody else want to add? No? And you're right, men and women can cause emotional distress. Vic is absolutely right. Men and women can do that. Okay, and there's only one more video, which is the topic of the thing, and we don't have to talk about it real. And it goes back to what we discussed earlier, the last topic. So what do you guys is and I feel like that can go both ways. I think that a man can be a treasure as well, or men like to be called prize these days. A prize as well to women. So.
I refuse to accept that feminine talking point, but y'all go ahead.
They kind of be called the catch, the prize. We had a whole conversation about it.
$48,000 a year and in a 1-bedroom apartment is not a fucking prize. And I said what I said for anybody in the chat. Y'all can kiss my ass. Get your game up, get yourself up. Then maybe we can revisit this conversation. But in regards to the video, I say a trophy belongs on a mantle. And personally, I'm not gonna put a woman on a mantle. I'm just not gonna do that. In regards to the treasure piece, actually, I don't know. Like, I was listening to him and I was like, okay, I'm feeling what you're saying, but I stayed competing. I stayed doing the things that I did to get my chick. So that there's never ever a reason to even be stolen, if we're going to use this treasure metaphor, to find yourself looking for something else, because I'm constantly giving you and pouring into you what I started in the very beginning, and that's where I'll leave at. I'll have more the analogy falls apart when we talk about putting a trophy on a mantle, because I ain't doing that. And we value treasure wrong. Like I don't know if that's true either. Anyway, what do you got to say, Marcus? Curious on your point on this.
So when I hear him say the treasure thing, I kind of relate back to men like wife and hoes, like trying to change somebody that you. When I think of the treasure or the trophy, when I'm thinking of the trophy, I'm specifically thinking of like a group of girls that's in and out of bottle service, different groups of guys, because he said they keep getting replaced. So you kind of know the pattern of somebody like that. I think it's easily identifiable. I'm not quite sure if other men can identify it or if they're intentionally ignoring the signs. It's still up for debate. I think that's like depending on who I'm speaking to. Because when we were talking about it yesterday, it was clear to me and Daryl, like this woman was not right, an ideal woman, just by some of the stuff she was saying. But everybody else on the panel felt as though it wasn't enough information given. So I'm not sure if that's really what's going on or not. But if I take it at face value, then yeah, I think we need to get a better strategy and thought process universally as to how to value relationships with different types of women. Because one of the things that men say is that women are just good for, like I've heard men say the majority of what they want from women is sex. If that's the majority of what you want, I can see how you will end up in a situation where you don't actually have women that would be a treasure because she doesn't provide anything outside of sex. So yeah, honestly, the answer to this is getting yourself to a position where you want more than just sex from women. Then you probably would get a treasure. If you just want sex, it's going to be a trophy because it's only one thing that you're really good for. So you just get the most attractive woman in your mind, and you constantly cycling saying these women ain't ish, but basically it's a specific type of woman that you're dating.
I thought they were arguing with you and Daryl just to argue yesterday. I was like, come on, y'all know the behaviors. Stop. And they pretended like they didn't. I'm still trying to picture a female as a treasure. It's hard for me to see it, and maybe I don't. Maybe I'm just missing the analogy.
So I think when he's saying treasure, he's specifically talking about somebody that's extremely valuable to you in more ways than just one. And a lot of times, like you don't see me posting relationships of on social media all day, right? It's kind of you want to protect some things and keep them away from the public where it could be tainted. But with the trophy, it's kind of like you're flaunting something that's meant to be seen because you don't plan on having it forever. So while you got it, you just enjoying it versus something you plan on holding it and securing. I think he used the example of the trophies getting secured and kept, not mean the treasure getting secured and kept and hidden away.
I can understand that. So basically, like a pirate digging up the treasure and throwing it on his boat and kind of not letting folks know he found it. I got you.
It's going, yeah, if you don't mute, it's going to echo. That's why I'm waiting until you mute it.
I realized, my bad.
So yeah, I think that's like you said, like a pirate, because they plan on keeping that. That's the prize. That's the best possession that they acquired through their works or whatever.